Good question. Do you believe that something new cannot arise? That question I forgot to answer. That how can your universe come from nothing? That's a good question. So, do you believe that consciousness is dormant in all living beings? You know what would be if you understand the answer which I'm going to give from a Vedantic perspective, then you will get Vedanta. Vedanta says it's not that consciousness is dormant or active somewhere in the universe. Rather, the universe lies dormant in consciousness. According to Vedanta, the consciousness is the reality in which the universe lies dormant, and then it appears. You can call it a Big Bang, you can call it evolution, life appearing, and then conscious beings appearing like us, and then life disappearing and the universe ending, going back to dormancy. Gita says, from the unmanifest, the manifest comes and goes back to the unmanifest. But unmanifest, manifest and unmanifest again. This cycle, it's all happening in consciousness. And Advaita Vedanta will go forward and say, it's not even happening. It's a movie being played. The reality all throughout is a changeless consciousness. See, I'll end with this. The 4 possibilities are there. I'll just give you in a seed form this answer. And I read it from a non-dualist teacher in Hindi who had no idea of modern science. He says, consciousness and matter, let's call it object, matter, the material universe and consciousness, what is the relationship? There are 4 possibilities are there. One is, consciousness emerges from matter, which is the old materialistic Charvaka argument in ancient India, and which is exactly the modern scientific argument. Matter, time, space, matter, energy, this is fundamental. And at one point, planets develop, living, more complex matter comes, organic matter, and from that living beings come, and they organize themselves more and more by Darwinian evolution into complex beings, and then they develop nervous systems and brains, and from those nervous systems and brains, all material. There's a byproduct called consciousness, just like a flame from a candle, epiphenomenal. And there is no consciousness without matter. So matter is the reality out of which consciousness flickers somehow. That's one theory. The second theory is just the opposite. Matter emerges from consciousness. Whose theory is this? All religions hold it. When they say God is the creator, that's religious language. If you ask them, is your God conscious or unconscious? They'll all say, our God is conscious. So actually matter emerges from consciousness. Consciousness is the creator of a material universe. Religion says. Which religion? All theistic religions say it. Second theory. This is not Advaita, not non-dualism. Third, neither emerges from the other. Both are eternal and parallel. Sankhya theory, Purusha Prakriti. Right. Yeah. Consciousness and time, space, matter, energy, Prakriti, they exist eternally parallel to each other and interact. Where do they interact? In us. We are consciousness interacting with matter. That's a living being, according to Sankhya. Very sophisticated theory. In fact, what David Chalmers is proposing now as panpsychism here, it's a variation, not exactly Sankhya, but a variation of the Sankhya theory. This is also not Advaita. There is another one which he has not counted, which is the Nagarjuna's Buddhistic theory. Matter is also Shunya, consciousness is also Shunya. Both are appearances in the void. It's a different thing to explore. Now, if you add that, then that's the fourth one. The fifth one is the Advaita theory. The Advaita theory is consciousness alone is real. It's the only reality in which matter appears. Consciousness does not create matter. It does not become matter. Matter appears periodically as universe, as life, and as conscious beings, and disappears. But consciousness is fundamental. That consciousness, I'm using the English word consciousness. There's no parallel to it. You might say, what proof? I will leave you with this. The proof is, look at your own experience. Where does matter appear? Where does matter appear? In your consciousness.
In your mind.
Where does mind appear? In consciousness. Where does mind disappear? In deep sleep. In consciousness.